Hey, you guys, welcome back to the live. Fibro, I just seen that CJK got a gifted membership from you. Thank you very much for doing that, Fibro. Again, and then we're doing this, we're gonna, let's see here, stop screen. Forgot that was even on there. And then welcome, Mr. Electric, as
Hey,
well
Mr.
to the show. Your mic's off though. So let's just go to the Chrome tab here, live. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so stand by. So what is it doing actually? What's this doing? Adam?
Yes.
I'm going to pause that. I'm going to give you the link.
Why don't you just mute it and keep it playing?
Well, I could, but why is it saying 42 minutes? Is that how long it's been sitting there for? Yeah, I'll just mute it. Let's see. And we'll see what, because we're expecting a live tomorrow, a press conference.
Right.
And then I see that it says this, that at 10:30 p.m., but it's past 10:30.
Yeah. Well, Ben said this governor is always late.
Oh, okay.
I had not seen this until you mentioned it. So let me take a look.
Yeah. And Mr. Electric, your microphone is still muted. So you can't say hello yet. There you go.
Yep, I was going to wait for my cue.
I think you missed it. I already said it, but then you didn't hear me.
No, I'm sorry. It's been a while. I haven't been in the streaming community in years.
Yeah. Thank you, Jizwiz. Anyways, so you guys, welcome back to the third live today. Most people will not have got a notification for this unless they actually see that this channel is live, because I've already used up my 3 notifications for today. But anyways, of course, Aspen Connor's in the house and Mr. Electric. Do you prefer to go by that instead of your actual name? That's whichever you. Yeah. Okay. And so I did give the link to a few other people. So we'll see if they join us at some point. Poor Sunny started a new live for Suzanne, and the governor has an update. Well, it's not just for Suzanne. Actually, it's for all 3. So it's for Charlotte, and of course it's for Delphi, and it's for Suzanne Morphew. So there's multiple things going on right now. So welcome back, everyone. And I don't want to really stay on this if she's not going to be doing it right now.
She's going to be doing it. Yeah, I'm looking at a tweet right now at 10:03 p.m. by the New York State Police that said that Governor Hochul is going to provide an update on the rescue at 10:30 p.m. So she's just running late, which we would never know a thing about that.
Right. Well, I want to pull this down for just a second as we're waiting, because I just want to share a couple things. So this is the beautiful family right here. This is a Charlotte. So this is the girl that we're talking about. So this was on, I don't know, one of the news medias. I just grabbed it off of. So I wanted to show that, and I want to kind of show like this is when they're rejoicing, finding out that obviously she's been found in good health. But yeah, so I just wanted to put up this beautiful girl that was found alive, Charlotte Sena. And so I just wanted to show you guys that beautiful picture. I'm so glad that this family has, it's just like usually in something like this, right? Sometimes we just don't expect the best scenario. Absolutely ecstatic, so happy that this girl is back with her family. And I know her family is, I'm sure, just pouring tears, crying that this girl was found alive. And we'll see. Yeah, give me a second, Ben. Maybe I might need you again, Ben. Take it easy. Take it easy, buddy. So 1 second. And just quickly there, Mr. Electric, your thoughts on Charlotte?
She beat the odds. Hands down, bar none. Rule of thumb, if you don't get him back in 12 hours, you get him back in a rubber bag.
Yeah. Oh, I am only because
that's a horrible thing to say to some. That's a horrible thing to even think. But those are the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
You beat
Well,
the odds.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. She absolutely did. Well, wonderful news. No, now lock this sicko up. I still haven't seen a picture of him. Have you, Adam? I still haven't.
No, I've not, but I haven't looked, to be honest.
Oh, okay. I pray she wasn't. What do you people do? Huh? What do you do? Did you eat? I ate, made alive, sat there and gathered all the paperwork
Oh,
for the Delphi.
I gathered all the paperwork for Delphi. I was and I read the documents.
Oh,
Um, and was just following some leads.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I never ate.
You didn't end up eating? No.
No,
Oh, you didn't eat and read at the same time?
I can't. I'm not that talented, but I will after we're done.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how long I have in me tonight because I've been up since like literally like 6:30 a.m. But
yeah, well, as long as you go, you go.
I'm trying to be as present as possible.
No, yeah, no problem. And support with Steph. I sent you a link to Steph if you were wanting to join or not. I sent I don't think I sent Alexa CD and Charmaine. So whoever joins type of thing. I thought Aspen told me to. I thought Aspen told me to call him a Mr. Electric.
I call you Madame Electric.
Yeah.
No,
So
we have one of those in the house. My wife is. I would take my wife on any job, whether it be a home, a generator, or a 50-story building.
Right.
You would take her?
Oh, absolutely, hands down, bar none. I used to. I took her to Panama for 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, hell of an electrician. We've been together 30 years now.
Oh, nice. And how long has she been an electrician?
Oh, God, she started getting into the math, I don't know, a decade ago, 15 years ago. She's actually better at some transformer theory than I am. I'm embarrassed to say.
Mm-hmm.
But she's got an analytical, she's got an analytical mind that I wish I had.
Oh, I love those.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Just to say, Ozzy, I didn't see no email coming from you. Wait. No, wait. I seen one email coming with the initials
Here we go.
L. Okay. Okay.
Good evening. This is a very good day. It's been a long 2 days, but tonight our prayers have been answered.
Is that up all the way, Sunny?
Grover,
It is.
relief and gratitude
They're low.
for this gift to all of us. And it is the people standing here with me that remind me why I'm so proud to be the governor of this state. Incredible men and women who were relentless in their pursuit of finding this little girl. Yesterday, I held Charlotte's parents in my arms. David and Trish, I went to the campsite. I saw
Mr. Electric, turn off your mute your mic, please.
Riding her bike because I was on the road she rode her bike on, saw where she left it. And her parents were just so overcome.
Thank you.
With sadness and grief. And as a parent, I thought my own heart was breaking. And I said to them, I promise you this, we will bring Charlotte home to you. And as each hour went on, hope faded because we all know the stories. The first 24 hours, there's hope. But when you hit 48 hours, hope starts to wane. But when Charlotte disappeared in Moreau State Park, it was every parent's worst nightmare. But I knew I would be able to have assembled the team of individuals who would not stop. And I want to thank at this moment the individuals gathered here tonight and all the men and women across this state that they represent. And the FBI brought in their specialized trained individuals all the way from Washington to help with this search. But I want to thank Deputy Superintendent Richard Allen, Lieutenant Colonel James Barnes, Lieutenant Colonel Richard Mazzone, Major Dennis Shager, for their work. The New York State Park Police, Colonel Michael Dodona, the Office of Parks and Historic Preservation, Chief of Staff Randy Simons, Saratoga County Sheriff's Department, Lieutenant Jeffrey O'Connor, the Schenectady County Sheriff's Office, represented by the Schenectady Police Department, Police Department of Schenectady, Detective Sergeant Bradley Carlton, the Federal Bureau of Investigation Acting Agent in Charge, Alfred Watson, who I met yesterday on site, New York State Department of Corrections and Community Services, Acting Commissioner Daniel Marticello, New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Forest Rangers, Basil Sagos. As I mentioned, when you hit that 48-hour moment, you realize it's going to be tough. And you start thinking the worst. But what happened was extraordinary. The case started to break at 4:20 a.m. this morning, when the family's home that was being guarded by state police, when the parents were still starting another day at the campsite where they'd last seen their daughter. 4:20 a.m. The car pulls up to a mailbox. Something is left. State police immediately go to the mailbox and identify what is a ransom note that had been left behind for Charlotte. State police worked diligently trying to find a match for a fingerprint. First one tried and wasn't successful. Second one was to identify any other prints in the New York State database that would be a match. The hit came at 2:30 in the afternoon. There had been a DWI in 1999 in the city of Saratoga. A fingerprint was found that matched what was found on the ransom note. So, a little more research work to identify the location and identifying the fact that there was a home they could visit. They found a double wide house with a woman, the suspect's mother. The suspect lived in the camper behind. They have what they call a dynamic entry, a tactical maneuver, and within the camper, they located the suspect. After some resistance, the suspect was taken into custody, and immediately the little girl was found in a cabinet, cupboard. She was rescued, and she knew she was being rescued. She knew that she was in safe hands. Her parents were immediately notified. This occurred at 6:32 this evening. The suspect, 47-year-old male named Craig Nelson Ross Jr., is still being questioned. At this moment, charges have not been brought, but they are fully expected. The daughter was transported to local hospital, as is customary, and that's all the family wishes to reveal at this time. But they are united. She is in good hands. She appeared to be outwardly physically unharmed at the time, but we'll leave the rest of this information about little Charlotte to her family at a time they deem appropriate. Often these stories don't end up like this. Every second is key. There's a lot of pressure. Split decisions are made. Because not just a life is hanging in the balance, but a little innocent child's life is hanging in the balance. So to the teams behind me, you work quickly. You work with great urgency. You put it together, the puzzle pieces. You're able to track down the location of Charlotte through technology. But ultimately, it was the 2 SWAT teams, 1 federal, 1 state, that landed in helicopters in Boston Spa to rescue Charlotte. Still pretty overwhelming because all of us feared the worst. But I promise Trish and Dave, they be reunited with little Charlotte once again, and she see her 2 sisters, one 10, one 4 years old. And obviously it's a traumatic event for the family and certainly Charlotte. And we'll continue to keep this family in our prayers as they heal. But she'll be going home. That's the story. Charlotte will be going home. That's all I have to say on the details. Certainly there'll be many more coming out with respect to the suspect and how that case will proceed. But I want to thank the media for their intense interest and the 400 volunteers who would not give up, the 400 individuals from law enforcement, fire departments, city, county, state, and federal. It was an awesome sight to witness up at the state park yesterday. Everyone doing their job, but also there are a lot of parents out there among the ranks, and everybody thinks, if it was my child, I would want everybody under the sun looking for them. And that's what this team did. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. You brought Charlotte home. Any questions?
What were Schenectady agencies involved in this case?
Charlotte's uncle was a member of the police department in Schenectady. I understand. If that's not correct, someone correct me. Fire department.
Was the suspect known to the family?
It has not been determined that the suspect was known to the family.
Who's that?
Was Charlotte randomly targeted, or did he know?
That is what will be revealed after more extensive questioning. The vehicle registered to the suspect, the address in the database was 2 miles from Charlotte's home, but it is not known at this time whether he knew her or had her under surveillance for any length of time.
Sean. Governor, can you say, you said a letter was delivered. Was it delivered by mail carrier or was it delivered by a third party? Do you have that information at this point?
It appears that it was by the suspect himself, that he literally drove up to the family's mailbox, assuming they were not home, 4:20 in the morning, opens the mailbox and inserts the ransom note, leaving a critical piece of evidence behind, his own fingerprint.
And I would assume the car details were also taken into consideration at that point.
It happened very quickly. Obviously, it's dark, it's 4:20 in the morning, so it's hard to get a description of the vehicle. But there was some sense of the type of vehicle at the time when they left. So as they're piecing together all the evidence, it came together when they did the fingerprint match. It leads you to a name, it can lead you to a vehicle, and that's why we know that he had a home. His mother's home is where he was found. Again, double wide trailer, mother lives there, double wide home. He lives in a camper in the back, or at least he was there, but he also had his name was registered to a vehicle, and the address was a home 2 miles from where Charlotte lived.
And this just came out of nowhere. He just showed up at 4:30 in the morning.
Apparently so.
Tessa, anything?
Have you spoken to Charlotte at all, or Charlotte's family, since she's been found?
I've made a number of inquiries to the family. This is a traumatic time for them as they're going through, her health, taking care of her health right now. And I'll be speaking to the parents soon, as soon as I can.
You said there was some resistance with the suspect. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
When we made the dynamic entry into the residence, he did give our sword operators, our SWAT people, some resistance in there. He was taken into custody. He did suffer some very minor injuries, but it was relatively minor, nothing big on the scuffle.
There's
Great, thanks,
still,
everybody.
I just want to say, there's still a lot of searches underway. The home that he was registered to, a lot of information. And so you want to make sure that he's not connected with any other cases. So that's why it's still an ongoing investigation. But at this time, there's no evidence of that.
At the end of the search, what was the extent like of the search in terms of the scope area that investigators, searchers were looking at?
I'll let you answer, Caroline. But
Are you asking about at the
There's
park?
six,
The
Or-
scope beyond the park, I've heard reports that it was beyond the park as well.
The original scope of the ground search was within the park. The information we received that took us to Boston Spa was obviously outside the park. We had no ground search operations going on outside the park other than leads we were running down that we were developing throughout the 2 days.
Great, thank you.
What's the letter say?
We're not gonna disclose that.
From this massive search? What were some of the biggest takeaways from this search? Now that it's wrapped up.
I would say the biggest thing is you look at all these people behind us, it's cooperation of all the agencies. We don't work in silos. We have to work together to accomplish something like this. And you can never be too careful with your kids. Pay attention to where they're at, what they're doing. Things can happen in an instant. Charlotte was no more than probably 2/10 of a mile from where she was camping in a small area, and she was gone for her to ride her bike around that loop would take her about 4 minutes, 5 minutes. So you think they're safe doing that at 9 years old, but you just got to be cognizant and be paying attention to things around you, your surroundings all the time. These things happen in a hurry, and unfortunately today this ended in the right way.
Will there be
Any idea on the motive?
will there be any security protocols moving forward at the park?
We'll be doing an after action report to identify any areas where the state parks can make any improvements. But obviously this is a very random incident, and basically anyone who comes in and out of that park will have come through a certain entryway. Their name is, they purchase a ticket, you have their name in a database. So that is why that's also helpful to identify who's in the park. So that's also in a sense a security measure, because we always know who's in the park.
Did the suspect enter through the main gates?
We don't have any, we don't know how many games.
Two helicopters, was the arrest affected by the helicopters or was the ground?
The arrest wasn't done by helicopter because of the seriousness of this incident. We brought in sword operators from throughout the state, and to expedite this, because obviously it was very time sensitive, we flew about 10 of our sword operators from downstate to be here to help with this entry. We normally operate about 6 or 8 people on a team. We had probably 20 sword operators make this entry with an FBI regional SWAT team.
Tell them what the sword stands for.
What SWORD stands for is our Special Operations Response Team. They are like most agencies have a SWAT team. We do that type of thing with our SWORD operators. They're full-time in that capacity, but they also do other things that normal SWAT teams don't do. We respond to high-angle rescue and different things with that team. They're a highly trained, highly capable unit that we use for just this type of thing. This is what they train for. This is what they live for, is to make entries like this and save someone's life.
All right, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
I have 2 questions. Does this going to affect how Amber alerts are sent out? Because was there a delay in this time? Because a lot of people are asking about that. Is the park back open tomorrow?
We'll have to get back to you on that. I would assume it'll probably be back open, but we'll make sure.
Will they be giving an update tomorrow? Any updates tomorrow that we should be aware of?
When we have more information, we'll have updates on our website, on our visual.
Any press conferences we should be aware of tomorrow?
With this tonight, probably not, but we'll let you know if we decide to do something. If we have more information that we can do. It's an ongoing active investigation, so we have a lot of work to do with this.
So were police present at the home when the ransom note was dropped?
They were in the area. They were not able to get the vehicle. There was some suspicious activity, and we were able to obtain the note
Where was the camper in relation to the family?
right behind the house.
Was he a registered sex offender?
He is not.
Okay, so we can come off of the RAM for a second. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I didn't get to overly hear about that because I was too busy looking for a volume booster and how to make it work. Oh, it's too late. So catch me up to speed because I literally was trying to find this volume booster to do it, and I thought it would just be okay. Open up volume booster and blah. Never,
Right.
never simple, is it? No.
No, of course not.
So
You know, so the governor basically said, you know, I don't think the governor said the name, unless I just missed it. But I mean, basically everything that, you know, we kind of heard speculated on earlier is what the governor said. That someone at 4 o'clock this morning, at 4:20 this morning, pulled up to the Sena's
the home.
house,
Yeah.
left a ransom note in the mailbox, and they recovered a fingerprint from it, which
Yeah.
led them to the suspect, and that the suspect was apprehended in a camper that was parked behind the double wide of his mother's home, and they found the girl. I believe they said in a cabinet in the
Oh,
camper.
Oh.
Did anyone else hear that, or did I just or am I making that up? Did they say camper and I just like I heard cabinet?
Oh,
But-
you heard it right. She was stuffed in a box.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought I had heard it correctly, and that, you know, there was a little bit of resistance. Clearly, there would be probably. So hopefully, he got a few scuffs on him, and that, you know, they recovered the girl, who seemingly was in good health outwardly, I think is the word the governor used at the time. And yeah, I guess. And then I know in the chat some people had said, you know, oh, why would police be watching the Sena household? And I don't know, to me that seems like it would be standard practice.
Right, because the child's missing, and then the ransom note was delivered.
And even if someone was staying at the house, or, you know, whatever, I mean, and I think I can understand why the family would be staying at the campground also. You know, I don't know if I would leave that campground if my daughter had been abducted from there and I was.
Oh, absolutely not.
But this is
yeah,
actually quite rare.
I'm sorry.
This is actually quite rare. This scenario, hardly. You just don't hear about ransoming little kids anymore. You hear about them dead. You hear about sick and twisted stuff happening to them. This is actually quite rare. I don't know what he thought he was going to do, except go back to prison for the rest of his life.
Right.
You're not getting away with this.
Right. You know, what an idiot, to be honest with you. Well, let me take her, then I'm going to sneak up to the home while the police are keeping surveillance on the home, and then he gets busted. An idiot.
Okay, Kelly, did she say his full name was Craig Nelson Ross Jr.?
Mhm.
Okay, I appreciate that, because I mean we knew that name from earlier, but I didn't remember hearing her say it. So thank you.
Thank you, who does as well.
Yeah.
Thank God for stupid criminals. Huh. Right? Yeah. So that was nice. I'm so glad that they did that tonight.
I know, right? And this, you know, and I know people, you know, I know that she's a politician. I know that, you know, whatever your political thoughts are, you might feel differently, but I appreciate anyone that is in an official capacity that's going to give me an update on a case that I care about.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to criticize anyone's motivation or intentions for giving that update or press conference. I'm just grateful they do.
Yeah. And there again is the family. Obviously this is a Christmas looking picture. And they're back as one family. You know, so.
And I mean,
poor thing.
The Lord only knows the trauma that girl experienced. So
I was just gonna say.
I know the road ahead of them is probably very long.
Can we say trust issues for life?
Yep.
Yeah. You know, that bleeds over into everything. Your personal relationships.
Yeah.
When she gets older and starts dating, it's going to bleed off into that. Marriage is probably out of the picture completely. at this point. She's never going to trust anybody. She was just snatched out of the blue. Her whole world just crashed on her without any kind of heads up.
Yeah.
Man, the long-term effects on this, it's hard to equate.
I guess, I'll just go back to this myself, is that everyone handles situations differently. And so hopefully, through therapy and everything, that she'll become a stronger person instead of, do you know what I mean? To try to take away some of those things, because it just depends on the personality of the child.
Yeah.
Right.
Some
There's people,
some people are able to take a situation like this
yeah.
and not let it define them, and other people, sadly can't escape it, and it defines their entire life.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that Charlotte gets the help that she deserves, and that she's able to overcome this.
Because in all fairness, I keep thinking a little bit here. She's at that age where, when I first learned that people died, because my grandma Rini had died, and that stays in my memory forever, that moment, because it was the first thing. I keep my freaking green screen. But anyways, so I'm sure that this is going to be, regardless, a traumatic experience. And again, hopefully, the end outcome as she's growing up, becomes that, maybe she'll become an advocate for the missing, or something like that, or for against things. So who knows? All I know is that, regardless, I wish her well. I wish their family well, knowing that they're going to have a road ahead of them to deal with, obviously, this traumatic event to this child.
It looks to me like they've got a very wholesome family, and she's going to need that. I'm looking at the image here, and I see one family unit that looks extremely tight.
Yeah.
She's going to need that.
Yep. Yeah. I'm just grateful, first and foremost, is that she's alive. That's
man.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we know that there's going to be some traumatic issues, obviously. I mean, imagine being found in a camper in a freaking box or cabinet or whatever. I mean, come on. Like, just to think what this poor child is being put through at the hands of these sickos. Freaking sickos. But anyway.
I think she's not going to flash on this the rest of her life every time she's in the kitchen and opens a cabinet. It's going to be a trigger moment.
Yeah.
I'm somebody that suffers from PTSD from on the job, and I have moments that I'm not particularly proud of, where every time I turn on a breaker now, I feel a moment of anxiety that shouldn't be there, but it is there.
Right. And that's why my mind sticks in my head, because, again, it was the first time I learned, of what death was. And so, because that was a traumatic experience for me, it just sticks in your head. This will never leave, ever, her head. But hopefully, like Steph has set up here, she will forever have brain trauma. She can live a normal life with success in trauma therapy throughout her life and stuff. So, thank you, Helen, for being a member again. Thanks for bringing us this update and press conference to us Australians. Without you guys, we wouldn't hear anything like this. Thank you, Helen.
Thank you, Helen.
Yeah. Stephanie, yes, especially when you're a kid, it just changes your brain, even if it's not in front of your mind. Absolutely. It's her mom who will never get the mom, the protection issues that the mom is going to go through now. Exactly the story that I explained yesterday, and why I was so protective of Matthew, because of my own experience with the paper bag RAPIST and stuff like that. Only when I had a child did my personal trauma come out. Up until then, I obviously suppressed it, and all of a sudden it reared its head as I got older and had my child. So yeah, this is course going to affect everybody. But, you know, now with the children and this happening, I mean, they're not going to be out of the parents' sight at all, at all. This
She's
freedom.
not the only one. Sorry, Sonny, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No. You go ahead.
She's not the only one that's going to get beat up out of this whole deal. Dad,
Yeah.
you think Dad isn't thinking right now, I'm so out of control with my life that I let somebody steal my damn child?
Mm-hmm.
You think he isn't asking that question?
Yeah.
That guy's going to be packing a pistol tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Well, you never know again, right? You never know how what people's thoughts are unless you're living in their shoes. You know, I get, you know, it's just one of those things, right? At the end of the day, we just wish that the best, you know, the best for this family and the child and whatever they have to go through, whatever stages and emotions that they have to go through. I'm just hoping, you know, like that it brings them closer and in a sense, definitely these parents are not going to be letting their children out of their sight. So the freedom that they did have is not going to be there no more. Not like it was because of exactly this. It changes, right? Because of some sick, twisted, freaking ass perv, it just totally changes and rips through people's lives, you know, because of these pieces of shit that walk the earth. And it's just, it's so appalling and disgusting that people do this type of thing, and yet they do. And there's abundance of these sickos throughout the freaking planet. But, you know, it's when people like, you know, you're just living your life, and then something like this happens and it totally flips your world upside down. Yeah. Anyways, that's my thoughts. Just glad she's alive. Yeah.
I'm just glad she's all right. Physically. You know what? She's going to be fine. She's 9 years old. I have to hope that she's going to be fine. I just can't accept that this is going to be the final chapter in this child's life.
Yeah. Yeah. I disagree with you, Anne, on this one. I think it's no problem in talking about it myself, but I get what you're saying. Your opinion is valid here.
Yeah. No, and I think it's fine to discuss the possibilities of the hardships that probably face this kid. But I do agree with Ann. You know, let's hope that this kid has a very bright road ahead of her. You know, let you know, I hope that she can overcome this. But I don't think there's anything wrong with discussing the roadblocks that are going to be in her way.
Well, they're just a given.
You know, but luckily children are resilient. The human mind is resilient, and I'm going to hope for the best.
Yeah. Do you know what this comment means? Where was the guy's mother? Did she?
Because I believe that it means because the camper was behind her home, so I think it's probably just asking, you know, where was the mother? Did she not notice? Meaning Craig's mother.
Sherry, so she's commenting on what Mr. Electric said there. I think it's different though, Sherry, a mother's thoughts versus a father's thoughts. So I get what you're saying. That comment was a little bit on the harsh side of because you know type of thing. But in saying that, I am not a male, and males think totally different than females. So
I didn't see the comment about the dad.
Well, no, it was what Mr. Electric just said there. She thought it was a little bit harsh or whatever, and it did come off a little bit strong. I get it. Just because
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No.
I mean, I'm a guy. I know the role that I play in my father. I mean, the buck stops with me. At the end of the day, my family's security, my children's security, it's all on me, not on 911. It's on me to protect them, to feed them, to house them, to secure them, to educate them, to make sure they have the tools in life to take on life. I mean, you know, and the mother's got the same role. I don't even want to speculate what mom's thinking. I have no way of knowing. I just know from a male's perspective, dad is probably turning into the Hulk right about now.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, honestly, I think honestly, both the parents both the parents would be feeling guilty about this. Not even just the dad, both the parents would be feeling, because both, like, I know as a mother that if this happened to me, I'd be feeling like I let my son down. I'd have such guilt, regardless. So meaning not just the dad, I think definitely both. Because that's where you go to. You go to feeling guilty about letting the child go for one more loop, and you start placing the blame all on yourself, right? And yet any other day probably of the year would just be fine. Nothing would have happened. Um, anyways, you guys, last words on this one, because we need to move on to Delphi and Suzanne Morphew. And I
Oh wow!
respect your
I didn't even realize I didn't realize we've been on for 45 minutes already. I was like, oh wow.
Well,
Okay.
because of the press conference,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep. And so I don't know if they're going to hold a press conference tomorrow. If they did this one,
I bet they will, because
You think-
we didn't really hear from too many law enforcement. So I bet they will.
You're right. You're right.
And as long as it's after like 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I can join the live.
Okay. So, hey, Mr. Electric, do you know anything about Delphi or about Suzanne Morphew's case, or no?
No. I've been following I've been following another case about the girl that was given masses of doses of horse tranquilizer recently.
Oh.
I'm drawing a blank here. I think my brain's in the mush.
Well, there's a lot.
I'm feeling my age. I can't remember. I'm not real big on this. I've got a lot on my plate. I come here because not because of your stories. I come here because of you and Alexa and the other people in the chat are just friendly.
That's nice.
I hang out in a different kind of environment. We're trying to help children. We're trying to build software for children with learning disabilities. It's a different mindset. I see something like this. I got children of my own. That's why I got so all alpha male, because it's just a reflection of what if this had been my kid?
Yeah.
It really hits home when you've got children of your own. It stings.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, no, absolutely. And everyone reacts differently. And regardless, like, for instance, regardless of Anne's comments, which are valid as an opinion, doesn't mean it's the same opinion as everybody else is thinking. So we can, discuss what we want, not want.
I've been married, Sonny. I've been married for 30 years. I learned through painful lessons how to not venture into what women will or will not do, or what women feel or how they feel. I have been well indoctrinated into what was the expression? Oh yeah, never miss an opportunity to shut the hell up. I have learned. Okay, that's why and I take it to heart. Like I said, I'm not Mama Bear. She probably when all's said and done, she's wanting to stick old boys good fun parts in the blender, I'm sure. But I'm not going to speak to that. I'm not a female. I'm a guy.
I was going to say, Mr. Electric will be joining us soon for a live by himself, talking about his time in prison and how he overcame that, and the stuff that he does today.
33 years and going strong.
Yep. And whatever. It's just going to be like really alive on, like I said, you said you were in, I know that we're not going to talk about it now, but you said you were in the same time as Ted Bundy. You had talked to him.
Yeah. I was an orderly on the wing with death row. And they didn't just stick anybody up there. You've got to be minimum security. You've got to be less than 2 years. You have to have some incentive not to act like a damn fool.
Yeah.
And so, you're not allowed to talk to anybody. There's all kinds of rules, but after a while, people kind of
Right.
get lax. And I just
Okay,
didn't care. I
save
didn't
it.
care for that.
Save it for the live. Save it for
Oh,
your
yeah,
live.
yeah.
Don't
Right
want to give it. Don't gotta want to give it away.
Okay.
The no, so yeah, no, so I'll appreciate that, but I just, I don't want you to give too much away. Like I said, save it for when you're actually talking.
It's an interesting story.
Yeah.
It's an interesting story, to say the least.
Looks like Steffa wants you to, Mr. Electric, I'm still waiting on my Discord invite. She's a little sloot, isn't she? She's our tree hugger. Yeah.
If you
So,
want to send anybody my Discord link, you've been in there, you see what's going on in there. I mean, have at it. I mean, with my blessing, at least somebody will be in there that does.
I'll only send over any respectful people that we are close.
Thank you. Because the people in there, I've got a couple of PhD guys in there from Twitch. We've got some masters. We got some people chasing down their doctoral work. It's PG-13.
Yeah. PG-13. Hear that, Alexa or Steffa? Okay, so we're going to move on though right now, Mr. Electric, to the Suzanne Morphew case. And at any point that you need to go, just feel free to let us know, okay? And if this, if this,
I'll catch it on YouTube. I'm going to hang out with the gang.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to make this screen bigger here. So we're going to talk about Suzanne Morphew because Delphi is a little bit longer to talk about for sure. And the Suzanne Morphew one.
By Mr. Electric.
Oh, did he? Oh, I thought he. Go ahead.
Yeah, he said he was going to catch it on YouTube. So I think he was just letting us know that he was going to bow out and watch the rest. So thank you for joining us, Mr. Electric. I enjoyed that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, one sec. Like Charmaine was on here. That's a first. We talk, but she was on here. Mr. Electric, came up.
This is Charmaine. I was like, Charmaine, you left when I came on and I was like, oh great, it's just Steffa. Kidding.
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out if Charmaine's more beautiful than you, or if
Charmaine.
You think? I don't know.
Yeah.
What about Sunny and Charmaine?
Although I might feel differently if I had hickory stick. I'm kidding.
I know. We gotta love Charmaine. Honestly, she's a great supporter of this channel. She's my Canadian chick over here. Yeah, and
so
she said,
"Thank you so much for joining us, Steffa, earlier, and thank you, Mr. Electric."
Yeah, exactly. And but yeah, Charmaine, she keeps spoiling you with ketchup chips. And are those hickory sticks on the way, Charmaine?
I do want to reiterate one point that was made here.
Sure.
I concur. Okay. I mean, a big one. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, about the big about Who Dis' comment.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
That's what I thought.
No, we love Who Dis, but she is a big one.
She is. Absolutely. She actually likes the title, All right. Well, it's too bad, honestly, because Carrie was like a Who Dis, in a sense. They had, like I said, there was a couple of them with the sarcasm to themselves, and she had to go ruin it.
If Who Dis had played her cards right, she could have been a part of the CW documentary.
Right. Okay, we need to move on. Let's see here. But thank you guys. So and Charmaine, at any point, if you do want to pop on, just pop on. With camera off, doesn't matter. I don't want you to really outdo me, so camera off is preferred. By the way, we can't have two raving beauties out the live. Well, three, to be honest with you. Adam's beauty, right, Adam?
I
Who
mean,
dis? Got the finger.
I may be past the point of camera ready.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're ugly right now, huh?
Oh,
I get it. I know when you feel like crap.
it's Monday, and I feel like it's like Thursday.
Right. Okay. Well, at least it's another kind of small, short week here because it's so crazy that there's 2 holidays within a week apart. But
Oh,
okay,
you're
so
lucky. We don't have it here.
yeah, that's because of that Truth and Reconciliation Day on Saturday, and then next weekend is Thanksgiving for us.
Yeah, we don't have that here. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm like I've been up since like I left at 7 a.m. this morning, went to work, and then when because I came back up to my parents this evening, and it's between 45 minutes to an hour away, so
Yeah.
it's a long way, and then I'm like, oh,
I know.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I know.
I want to talk about Suzanne Morphew and Delphi, and then I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to read this post. Lauren Scharf. This is the lady that I speak highly about. Actually, did a tribute video for her back in the day of the Suzanne Morphew because she just has put her heart and her soul into the Suzanne Morphew case. What was it? She was working for was it Fox 59? I think it was Fox 59. Whatever Colorado is.
Fox 59 is Indiana.
Yeah, that's true. So whatever Colorado is, I forget now. But anyways, but she was working for Fox. And so it says, my heart continues to feel, so it says, Suzanne Morphew's sister, Melinda, issues a new statement and wants the public to shine bright on Edna Quintana as they did for Suzanne Morphew. So that's the person that they were looking for when they found the remains of 2 people. I think it was Montoya. Was it James Montoya? I think it was James Montoya. And then, of course, Suzanne Morphew on different dates. So it says, and then you thought perhaps there was another one on top of that, I believe. So it says, my heart continues to feel quite relief and peace with the settled knowing that my beautiful sister, Suzanne Morphew, was recently found on Friday, September 22nd. Although there were only skeletal remains left in the dry prairie grass of Saguache County. Ha! Remembered it. Saguache. I am grateful for the closure for which I have prayed since May of 2020. Only those who have walked this journey of loss can truly understand the ambiguous loss of this tragedy. Today, I chose to turn my thoughts and hearts to the family of Edna Quintana, whose search was the catalyst for my miracle sister Suzanne being found. I am asking the same loving social media community who kept Suzanne alive to now turn their heart of care to the family of Edna in their time of need. They now wait in anguish and uncertainty for the discovery of their beloved Edna. So please take a few moments each day and do what you can to keep Edna's story alive. Okay, people? So let's keep Edna's story alive as well. The family could use it. They're grateful that these other families have found some closure or some answers, at least, up to where their loved ones are, but they're still waiting for their mom's remains to be found. Pray those in authority. Pray for Edna's return. Thank you all for who believed that Suzanne would someday be found. We are forever grateful. Now it's Edna who needs your thoughts and prayers. Keep her alive in the social media world. Don't forget Edna Quintana. She needs you. May God of all mercy grant a miracle for the Quintana family in the discovery and safe return of their beloved Edna back to her family. With thankful heart, Melinda Mormon, sister of Suzanne Morphew. Okay, so there's that there. So that's beautiful, you guys. So again, Fox 31, is that what it was on there? And there was another thing. Okay, let me go to this for a second. Stop screen.
I've always been impressed with Lauren.
I love Lauren.
I only knew her from this case, but yeah, and I know she's not in news journalism anymore, but I was really impressed with her coverage.
Let me yeah, you know what? Again, you know what? The thing about Lauren is that she's just a great heart. She's just truly a great heart. And
She's continued to do it, even though she's not getting the, it's not like she's doing it for the news attention and coverage.
right, and that's what was, because I've spoken to her through Messenger and stuff like that. Although she did promise me she'd come join on the live, so I might have to hold her up to that one at some point. I'm just going to bring this into the thing. So basically, and this is because I think of the defense. Where did it go? Come on, I just saved it. Downloads, let's go right here. Okay, so this is a very key thing right here. So it's hard to see because it's blurry and it was off of the Twitter there. So, I'm not even showing it to you guys. Good fight. Sitting there talking and okay. So right down here, you guys, okay, is Creststone. These are GPS coordinates from the truck of obviously the truck that Barry Morphew was driving. So let me go back here for a second.
While she's doing that, there's also another very high-profile case for a woman that's missing out of Crestone, Colorado, named Crystal Reisinger. So if anyone's interested in that case, look it up, because she deserves to be found as well.
Yeah. Okay, so where are we? Suzanne Morphew was found here. Okay. And Crestone is right here. Right? Yeah. Like 14 miles away.
Yeah. And these are tiny remote towns. Like these aren't, like these are smaller than Delphi.
Yep. So what do you think the chances? Now let me just go to the poll, because there's a poll that will be so 50. Oh, it changed. So only 51. So 51. So the question was, will Barry Morphew ever be charged again for Suzanne Morphew's obviously homicide? Yes, 51%, 12% no, unsure 22, and don't know enough about the case is 14%. Oh, just dropped down to 50. But anyways, so now that you have that information, now what's the poll gonna say? But anyways, so in those coordinates that they were just showing, and those coordinates, like I said, that was from the defense team saying that
Right.
Barry Morphew, he wasn't even down that way.
Of course he wasn't.
He wasn't even down that way.
Of course he wasn't.
Of course he wasn't. Oh,
I mean, they were just shocked because they were expecting her to show up anytime on her own volition.
just quickly,
Go F yourself.
got a personal blowback. She did.
Necessary Evil asks, "What's her COD?" No, yeah, we don't know yet.
Oh, we don't know yet. Correct. Cause I had to think about what he was saying there. I was like thinking fish, cod,
yeah, her COD we don't know yet, and it'll be hard to determine probably because she was skeletal. It's been 3 years. But I'm hoping that they have some indication or clue from something. We don't know the condition she was found in either. We don't know if she was clothed. We don't know what other evidence was found with her remains. So I'm just praying and hoping that there's something among those findings that will give us some clue as to what happened to Suzanne. Because, with just her remains and nothing else, that could be more of a difficult road. So I'm hoping that there were some indications as to what happened to her.
Yep. What was I just gonna say? I was gonna say something.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Sonny.
No, you didn't. Placement marker. Oh no, hold on, I gotta move it. Can't stand the guy regardless. Can't stand looking at his ugly mug.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah. And then Barry is Morphew as well. You're welcome. So, so I was gonna say, what was it? I was gonna say something. Don't remember now, but whatever. So again, the GPS coordinates, that's in part of the evidence, from the defense and stuff like that. So sucks to be them for saying that Barry wasn't down that way, because they remember they put in their stuff that, well, he didn't go south. Well, according to your own work, yes, he did. To Crestone. So you just know that. I'm sorry, but he's going to get charged again soon. Yeah, they're going to wait for their test results. Remember, they went back digging there again. Yep, he's going to be arrested soon again. Tell you that much. Yeah, spank his ass all the way back into jail and then prison. Yep, justice for Suzanne. I wonder if the tranquilizer would show. That's what I was wondering too, Steffa. Actually, if the tranquilizer would show in bone. Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, I think that's a far stretch, to be honest with you on that one. Yeah, not unless Edna had some some knowledge of Suzanne over there. I get. I don't think that there's personal attachment there for sure. Again, you know, apparently this is kind of like I said, they call it the boneyard or something like that. That a lot of people, because this place is so desert and no one's really going to look out there for the most part. It's a dumping ground really for a lot of people, sadly. Um, Anyways, I think Edna will get her justice. I feel like she will be found um, in the not too distant future for Edna. But anyway, so prayers for Edna's family on that one. But yeah, so what do you guys think about this? Before this is all I'm going to talk about. Too much with the Suzanne Morphew case, just because I came across the Lauren Sharf thing, and I want to really talk about this, about the fact that Barry's GPS on the truck. So obvious. I wonder if it's because the tower is pinging off of. What do you think, Adam? Like meaning they're not like maybe there is a Moffat one somewhere deep and thin, but that's not
Right.
showing GPS there. But I mean, this right here is a big tell-all to me. Like,
Oh yeah.
oh, wait, didn't you go to Broomsfield?
Right.
Right? Didn't you give your wife a kiss at 5 a.m. and head off to Broomfield? Freaking liar. God, that guy makes me puke more than I can say. I cannot stand some, like, I can't, the whole time his wife was missing, his actions were just despicable. And, I mean, like, he literally made himself a target.
Oh,
He
absolutely.
never came
And can
across.
you imagine the victim he painted himself as to his girlfriends that he probably had during that time, or still does, or has since then?
Yeah.
Because this guy's getting his rocks off somewhere.
Let me see if I can
Gross.
see. Well, that was nice.
Because I think this guy suffers from little man syndrome in more ways than one.
It was. Looks like everything was on the 10th and 11th. It's not showing the date beside this for the location. Well, it's showing location. Sorry. I haven't looked at it overly enough.
Yeah.
I literally need to grab those files. UTC time. So they have Mormon. Thinking. I mean, obviously they would be on. This would be on the day. I think. Well, yeah, this would be the day that is
Right.
he's traveling, meaning that day of the 10th. So remember his truck backs up for considering he never moved it. Remember his truck backs up for 45 minutes or something like that. Like he backed up his truck at a certain time. And that was on the 9th. 9th. Yeah, that was on the 9th, you guys. But he backed up a truck. Was that 9:45 or something like that? I have to look over all the stuff again. I would assume it had been some serious, right? GPS. Yeah. I mean, again, you know, if he was traveling this way, and this is like I said, I mean, this is kind of all over right now. This whole like the GPS for the truck, because again, this was from the defense, and they were acting like he wasn't even there. Like, you know, they obviously screwed up because they acted like
nowhere near it.
yeah. They said he didn't go south. There was nothing to show. Well, there you go. He's in Crestone. Duh. You know, obviously they didn't look at their own work. So, anyways, if Barry's here, guys, and Suzanne is here, all I can say is bingo, bingo. You know, big target. So I think that, like I said, who knows what's become of the search, or who knows what exactly they're going to find on Suzanne or anything. At the end of the day, do you feel, Adam, that Barry's going to be tried again and successful this time?
It'll all depend on what they found with her remains. Like
Yeah.
that, I hope that they found some clue as to what happened to her. Because you know, Suzanne deserves that I don't want to even say justice. I feel like
I know.
such an overused word. I feel like she deserves at least that answer.
Yeah.
And you know, whether they believe it or not, I believe that the girls deserve that answer as well.
Absolutely. Hold on a second. They were living in fantasy land, thinking that Suzanne was going to walk back in the door. You know, including Barry.
Well, I doubt it. I doubt it was a fantasy for Barry.
It wasn't definitely.
Allegedly, I would think that he knew that she wasn't probably going to walk back in the door.
Well, no, they definitely already, I think, ruled that part out. She's definitely, it's definitely a homicide. Absolutely.
Right. Natural. It's hard. You know, it's hard to bury yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to bury yourself. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when people in the Bialik Murdoch case were saying, oh, or the Idaho case, were like, could it have been a homicide, self-unaliving?
Yeah.
Well, the only problem with that is if you don't leave a weapon behind, it's very difficult to do that.
Yeah.
And in both those cases, you know, we didn't have weapons left behind right there. So
Oops. Gotta put that on pause for a second. I'm just gonna show a clip in a second here, because we're gonna move over to Delphi in a second, because I know you're getting tired, and Delphi is a little bit of a read, but not too bad.
Well, yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna help you read it.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so you guys, as of this moment, we are gonna move over to. Plus, y'all notice she was kind of close to that creepy cult. No, I don't actually know anything about the creepy cult thing, to be honest with you. We're heading to another O.J. Simpson case. Hopefully not, Anne. Hopefully not. Okay, so I'm going to play this quickly. It's a little bit about, the paperwork. Come on. Play.
Revelations emerging tonight in the Delphi murders case. Just 2 hours ago, we learned Richard Allen's defense team is asking the judge to set a deadline for the prosecutor to share all the evidence. 13 Investigates senior reporter Bob Siegel is in studio to report that Allen's attorneys say they're not getting the state's evidence quickly enough to be ready for that trial in January.
The motion filed Monday afternoon says the state turned over 16 hard drives, 4 flash drives, and 1 disk of information related to the murder case from December of last year through this June. But they say in just the past 3 weeks, the state turned over an additional 14 hard drives, 5 more flash drives, and 3 more disks, a vast amount of information, greatly increasing what defense attorneys must review prior to trial. They claim some of the newly provided information from the state, including interviews, a letter, and a search warrant, supports their theory that Abby Williams and Libby German were killed not by Richard Allen, but instead by other people, possibly as part of a ritualistic sacrifice. And they say a warrant signed by a judge in Marion County was for internet and phone records of an unknown person who admitted to killing the girls, even providing details unknown to the general public of the crime scene. The defense team says they must conduct at least 30 to 40 more depositions, and to conduct those interviews, they want the prosecutor to produce all evidence in its possession immediately, fearing otherwise a continual drip, drip, drip of evidence. They say without a firm discovery deadline, it is impossible to expect the defendant to be fully prepared for trial.
Oh,
Allen's defense team wants the prosecutor to turn over all evidence and information no later than November 1st. That's what they've asked the judge to order in this new motion.
And again, Bob, right now the trial is scheduled to start January 8th, right?
And they say they don't have a lot of time, and that's why they want this deadline put in place.
Yeah, Bob Siegel's been covering this for a long time. We'll continue to cover it. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Big banks can all feel the same.
My bad. Panic blows up in my ear. Okay, so let's quickly do this then. Let's see. Okay, I gotta open that. That's open. How do I open that again? Let's see. Share. Where is it? Window? Yeah, right here. Okay, so this is the first one that came out this morning, you guys, and then the other one came out after that.
Which
go ahead.
You know, I have to say, I'm good with whatever you want to do, but the supplemental motion for the Franks hearing, to me, is not worth going through and reading all of it, because it's 5 pages.
Well, then just explain it to them quickly, Adam, and do that, because it really is just referencing other cases.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
And I just want to, so what this 5-page document does is it basically references other cases that they're using for citation and supporting evidence to corroborate their Franks motion hearing, motion that they put out prior to this. Anyone that's listened to like the Defenders, I can't remember the name of their podcast, the Defense Podcast.
The Defenders Podcast?
No, there's a defendant one I listened to, and I listened to a couple different defense attorneys talk about how if the defense team had been serious about the Franks motion hearing they were requesting, they would have included a document like this. And now that we're seeing it, I feel like either the defense team like caught wind of the fact that they hadn't done this, or maybe they just woke up and realized that, oh wait, we didn't cite our work. So I think that putting casework in when you're requesting legal motions is probably smart to reference other case law.
Right.
That's essentially all I read in this. There's nothing about Richard Allen in this document. It's just about other cases that they're using as reference.
Well,
there may be relevance to it when you dissect the individual cases they're talking about. To read the 5-page document is, in my opinion, kind of legalese. Yeah. It's just a bore.
The one thing I'll say is that it says, like in this document, however, defendant Allen now realizes that he did not articulate in detail the actual burden of proof associated with said preliminary showing. Right. Defendant Allen now realizes that he did not articulate. Right. Shut up. It's the lawyers doing all that crap.
Right. my my uneducated opinion on that is that, the defense team has been, trust me, the defense team is paying close attention to what's being put out on YouTube and in public forums. And I
Yeah.
think they caught wind of the fact that no one's buying into the story they're putting out.
Yeah.
And they decided to put this document out to further the legal argument they can stand on, even because it's a very shaky. We all know that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no merit to what they're putting out. So they put this out as, like a Jenga brick underneath just to keep it up, even though it's not going to work. But
Yeah.
we'll see. I could be wrong. I don't think I am.
I love how so in this motion basically right here, this is the one where they're saying that that they needed a deadline set. Well, kind of when you're listening to the prosecutor's podcast and that, they tell you have up until the day of trial to
That's
hand
great.
over any discovery. So they're just doing every freaking thing that they think is possible,
And if you look, and I don't have it in front of me, but if you look at the Indiana rules of law for, I believe it says something along the lines as far as discovery, that it's required by a reasonable. I can't remember. Like I said, I can't remember the exact wording, but it's something among the words of in a reasonable and standard amount of time, or something like that. A lot of courts have deciphered that as meaning the day a trial starts. So when people read that, that the defense hasn't received the discovery, it's completely up to the court as far as the timeline they have to receive that discovery. And anyone that watched the Alec Murdaugh trial knows that, sometimes discovery comes into play even as the trial is happening. For what I'm talking about is in the Alec Murdaugh trial, some car forensic information from Alec Murdaugh's vehicle finally came in, but it wasn't until the trial was actually halfway over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that can happen. So for the defense to, have this, clutch our pearls moment of we have not received the information, even though every time they say that, they also then put a footnote in that says, but we may have received it. We just might not have looked over it yet. So take that with what you will. But no, the prosecutor does not have to release the discovery until whatever time the court decides they have to. Personally, I'm not a lawyer, but you know what? In a 6-year-long investigation, I agree. The defense should probably have all of the discovery that the prosecution has. Granted, that's a hill to climb to get them all of that. But you know what? Get it all to them by November 1st. Play their game. Give this one little win to the defense. Contingent, of course, on any new discovery coming into play. But this is just another tactic. It's just another headache that the defense is putting in front of the court that the court is not going to appreciate.
Yeah. Let's see if this is better still.
In my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay. You ready to get into it?
Sure.
Okay. So we'll try to eliminate any crap that we see too much. So comes now the defendant Richard M. Allen by counsel Bradley, so just say Rozzi and Baldwin, and respectfully request that this court set a discovery deadline in this cause in support of motion. Defendant Allen states as follows. On October 28, 2022, the state filed a motion alleging defendant Richard Allen committed 2 felony, obviously homicides. The jury trial in this case is set for January 8, 2024. Throughout this proceeding, the defense has received discovery in form of external hard drives, thumb drives, blah, 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 all that stuff. The defense has picked up said discovery, usually within a day, but no more than 2 weeks as of the discovery being made available. Said discovery was provided by the prosecutor on those dates coming up. So make that, okay? So they're just showing the dates there. And the state of Indiana has indicated to the defense that the more recent discovery it has provided may contain some discovery that has defense already received. If that is accurate for reviewing the state's itemization of newly discovered evidence by the defense, believes that very little new discovery has previously been discovered. However, the defense has very little time to compare the new discovery dumps of 14 hard drives, 15 flash drives, and 3 disks received on or after September 8th. Kind of like what the defense put out there. Remember, well, we don't got this and we don't got that, but let me just tell you that we have not looked at everything that we have gotten.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So the defense conducted the first round of depositions in this matter in the early August of 2023. The defense anticipates conducting at least 30 to 40 additional depositions, basically what we just heard on that clip right there. The vast amount of newly discovered evidence received on or after, okay, whatever. I'm just trying to go through this so you guys don't get too bored.
Right. And let's not pass over the fact that, you know what, 16 hard drives, 4 flash drives, 1 disk, 16 hard drives, 4 flash disks, 1 disk, 14 hard drives, 5 flash drives, and 3 disks is not nothing. That is excuse my language, shit ton of discovery that the prosecutors have turned over to the defense. And yes, right. Even in a 6-year-long trial or 6-year-long case, defense has received an insane amount of discovery. So for them to be crying like, victim, if they're not getting pertinent information, that's one thing. But let's be honest, they have gotten more than they can even ascertain. And as they even say that, there are multiple times they contradict themselves in this document. But I'll stop talking and we can keep reading. But I just wanted to point out that's an insane amount of material to have received.
Right. This is probably why I don't believe it's going to happen on January 8th, probably. I don't know. Wait, is January 8th preliminary, right?
It's when jury selection is supposed to begin.
Yeah, okay. So the September 8th, 18th, 21st, and 27th, 2000 receipts have referenced as above, contained in part discovery that was generated by the state after the defense conducted its initial round of depositions. It was during the initial round of depositions that the state of Indiana Unified Command learned that the defense was aware of law enforcement's lack of investigation and focus on certain suspects related to Odinism, as detailed in the defense recent Frank's filing. Some of the recent discovery that the state of Indiana has provided is directly related to the Odinism aspects of the case. God, that bores me even when I'm talking about it. But you know what I'm saying, just because it's a crock of crap. But it was only turned over to the defense after the state of Indiana was aware that the defense was cognizant of the Odinism aspects of the case. The missing Odinite evidence that was finally turned over by the state of Indiana following the first round of depositions included, but not limited to, multiple interviews with Elvis Fields. I'd like to know how this guy decided that he was going to confess and, whatever.
Don't forget, he had the mental capacity of a second grader, right. I believe.
Right. I remember hearing that about one of them anyway, so I guess it was Elvis. Yeah. So again, exculpatory evidence that supports the defense. Multiple interviews with Johnny Messer, which defense has reviewed exculpatory evidence, and an interview with Rod Abrams that is reviewed and contains exculpatory evidence. Of course, this is all stuff that can let Ron Logan off, or not Ron Logan. Why am I saying that? Richard Allen off. A letter from the former Rushfield investigator Todd Click, which is exculpatory in nature, that is provided. Okay, he's the one that talks about Odinism, I guess, and stuff like that. A report, roughly 85 pages in length, that has been received and contains exculpatory evidence that supports the theory of Richard Allen's innocence. Ugh. Gag. Sorry, guys. I just,
Right. And really quickly, who says how many tips did they get? Maybe that's not a lot of discovery for a case of this magnitude. And I was actually just recently looking into the tips, and I can't remember the final amount, but even as the first week, they had like 1,000 tips, but I don't care how many tips you have. I mean, we all presumably have a one hard drive. Can you imagine what the amount of information is on 30 hard drives combined? If you look at the 2 discovery drops.
Yeah, right.
So
Can I go back? Do you want me to continue reading? Or do you have...
no, I mean, I'll read. Several search warrants signed by judges in Marion County pertaining to certain internet and phone records, including at least one unknown person who admitted to killing the girls, even providing details unknown to the general public of the crime scene, such as the fact that he used a knife in a way consistent with the manner of death, and also claiming that he used a gun but never fired it. Having only had a chance to barely touch the surface of the vast amounts of newly discovered, 12. Having only had a chance to barely touch the surface of the vast amounts of newly discovered evidence the defense has received in the past 24 days, it is hard to know what other exculpatory evidence may be found in the 14 hard drives, 5 thumb drives, and 3 disks, as well as the paperwork that was also provided since September 8th, 2023. In addition to the vast amounts of newly discovered evidence that has been in the hands of law enforcement and the prosecutor's office for over 10 months since the defense entered their appearances, the defense has received certain new evidence that has only recently produced, including a new audio file in which Brad Holder was interviewed by state police in August 2023, a new audio file in which Patrick Westfall was interviewed in August 2023, a new audio file of Nick Westfall, who was interviewed in 2023, a new audio file in which Jeffrey Torco was interviewed on September 9th, 2023. This is believed to be the mystery Purdue professor described in the Frank's memorandum.
Wait, can I want to say this? Yeah. Remember how they made it sound in that freaking long story there? They made it sound like we may never know who that professor is.
Right, because they're claiming the prosecutors are saying they didn't know the identity.
Yeah. Feeding off of bullshit. Go ahead, Adam.
This is believed to be the mystery Purdue professor described in the Frank's memorandum. The state of Indiana was apparently aware of the existence of the September 9th, 2022, or 2023, but did not inform the defense of his existence until the defense found his name in a September 27th, 2023 evidence dump, meaning discovery when they say evidence dump. Between the vast amounts of old discovery that has been in the hands of law enforcement for over 10 months, including sorry, I can't pronounce anything tonight. Exculpatory evidence that supports the defense's theory of Richard Allen's innocence, as well as the Todd Cook's letter that had been in the hands of the prosecutor since May 1st, 2023, a letter that led to exculpatory evidence that supports the defense theory that Richard is innocent. The defense is concerned that there will be a continual drip of evidence, which could be exculpatory in nature, unless a discovery deadline is set by the court. Sorry. Of course, the defense is not seeking a discovery deadline in any exculpatory evidence, as the state of Indiana has a continuing obligation to provide exculpatory evidence to the defense when the state of Indiana is aware that it possesses exculpatory evidence. The defense is requesting that the prosecution produce all evidence in its possession immediately, and that the court set a November 1st, 2023 deadline to do so. Additionally, based upon the state's most recent discovery of new evidence, such as the August 2023 Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall interviews, it is the defense's view that following the defense's team's first round of depositions, that the state has reopened its investigation. Not true. While defendant Allen takes no exception with the state reopening its investigation, Directing its focus on other suspects in this case, Defendant Allen desires that there be some end to the offering up of new information, as well as the parameters as to when and how the state of Indiana should turn over new evidence stemming from the reopened investigation into the Odinism aspects of the case or any other aspects of the case that are still being investigated. Pursuant to a number I'm not going to say, Defendant Allen acknowledges his responsibility to seek out a full discovery under terms of the standing order on discovery. In this respect, and to confirm with the local rule, Defendant Allen directed to Carroll County Prosecutor Nicholas McClellan additional requests for discovery on the following dates: letter dated August 22nd, 2023, and letter dated August 28th, 2023. Defendant Allen believes he has received a portion of the discovery requested in the above referenced letters. That's an interesting point. However, to the best of Defendant Allen's knowledge, he has still not received the following discovery that has been requested upon this date and are particularly important as they may very well contain exculpatory evidence that will support the defense theories of who actually murdered the girls. Brad Holder's audio videotaped interview from February 17th, 2017, conducted by Special Agent Adam Pohl and Hammond Police Officer Christopher Goethe. The body of the report concerning the interview states the following. The below is an interview summary. It is not intended to be a verbatim account and does not memorialize all statements made during the interview. Communication by the parties in the interview room were electronically recorded. The recording captures the actual words spoken. Emphasis added. The defense requests the recording so that it can utilize all actual words spoken by Brad Holder in his interview. Additionally, in his August 2023 interview, Holder discusses a second interview with law enforcement that took place years ago. The defense requests all reports and recordings of this interview. Patrick Westfall was interviewed on February 19, 2017, by the same law enforcement officers that interviewed Brad Holder 2 days earlier. The defense has not been provided with any electronic recordings of this interview. A report believed to be authorized by Purdue professor Jeffrey Torco, defense has not found this report in any of the newest discovery. Police reports related to Mary Jacobs reporting her brother's confession to the person in person to Carroll County's. Police reports related to Mary Jacobs reporting her brother's confession in person in Carroll County sometime in February or March 2017. The state of Indiana has indicated that it has not been able to locate items A, B, C, and C in and E in paragraph 20. The state had previously indicated that it could not locate the Purdue professor or any reports he had authored, although that may have recently changed. At the time of this filing, the trial in this cause, is just over 3 months away. Defendant Allen understands that there will likely exist additional discovery in the form of audio and video surrounding defendant's detention circumstances, which will continue to be requested and presumably disclosed in the event that this honorable court takes no action of Defendant Allen's recent motion for immediate transfer. However, Defendant Allen requests that the state of Indiana be required to offer up the totality of all other discovery no later than 30 days from the date of this report. Without a firm discovery deadline, it is impossible to expect Defendant Allen to be fully prepared for this trial, as it is difficult, if not impossible, to conduct depositions and to engage in pretrial hearings, such as suppression hearings and hearings on motion and lemieux, without the totality of all discovery in this case being provided to the defense. Trial Rule 26B provides that the defense may obtain discovery regarding any matter not privileged, which is relevant to the subject matter involved in the pending action, whether it relates to the claim or defense of the party seeking discovery or the claim or defense of any other party, including the existence, description, nature, custody, condition, and locations of any books, documents, or other tangible things, and the identity and locations of person having knowledge of any discoverable matter. This investigation has been ongoing for more than 6 years. Again, with this understanding that there may be some additional discovery related to Defendant Allen's detention circumstances, there is no reason why the defense should be receiving discovery that has been in the hands of law enforcement and which continues to be quite voluminous at this late stage in the proceedings. The need for discovery deadline exists. Wherefore, defense counsel respectfully requests that the court set a discovery deadline no later than November 1st, 2023, as defense counsel believes that said deadline is necessary to 1. Promote Defendant Allen's constitutional due process rights to be confronted and presented with all evidence concerning the pending allegations. 2. To promote the need for judicial economy as the trial in this case draws near. And 3. To permit Defendant Allen and his attorneys to be fully informed as they engage in further depositions and pretrial matters in this case.
Oops, I'm sitting here talking. I said, unless let us not forget, of course, who this is all about, obviously. At the end of the day, this is exactly about these two girls here and receiving the justice that they deserve. Let's see. I don't think Woodhouse has anything that other people don't.
Wait, who said that?
What? Oh, Ivy.
Right. Of
Yeah.
course not. I mean, again, I'd like to reiterate, I'm not accusing Brandon Woodhouse of anything, but if the defense attorney accidentally emailed all of the discovery to someone, I have yet to ever receive an email that contained 14, 16 hard drives, 3 thumb worth of, I mean, I try to send a 3-minute video sometimes and it's like, please use mail drop.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you can send an email that contains that much information.
Yeah.
Or data.
Yeah, I don't believe he has it. I don't believe he has it at all anymore. No. Like, contrary to what I think he came across sounding like. Absolutely. So, I mean, I'm just going to put him into the whatever pile, to be honest with you.
Right.
It's not a stable person by no means. Anything that we've seen.
And maybe he's manipulated. I don't know. I'm not going to accuse him of anything. I just don't believe it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, you know, any of those images that he showed were simply images out there. There's nothing special about them. Let me put it that way. So, I mean, at the end of the day, whatever this becomes of, obviously the defense, and to me, this is going to be a whole 3-ring circus, this entire thing. Even more so if cameras are allowed, you know, in the...
No to the defense.
Hey.
It was already a chaotic environment. But,
Yes.
The defense has done nothing but try to make this a circus atmosphere.
Circus, yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, they're grasping at straws. They're trying to get him off for him admitting to it. You know, they're trying to, of course, cause reasonable doubt, you know, and bringing the whole Odinism and all these exculpatory evidence against Elvis, this Patrick Westfall, blah, 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 blah. And I mean, like, I get that they're doing their job. Sadly, it's at the expense of the victims' families and stuff like that, having to constantly deal time after time with, you know, thinking that they were, you know, like thinking that they're hopeful, you know, like remember when James Bryan Chadwell, and then, but the family that was then, you know, you could tell because of the wording that they were kind of told like, nah, he doesn't have anything to do with it, and stuff like that. And it's kind of like the hopes get up, then back down, back up. Then after a point, you don't really,
Right.
until something was substantial. But and then so now to go through this aspect of it, as the family members, just to watch the three-ring circus going on when it's about Abby and Libby, and the defense doesn't give a shit. Like, not to say that they person in their hearts, but I don't care. I could never ever be
Right.
a defense person just for this reason.
I
know.
get that to be a defense attorney, you have to compartmentalize the victims to an extent, and I get that, but I do, like I got some criticism on like my video that I did recently about saying that after I read the rules and guidelines for attorneys in the state of Indiana, that from what I read in the memorandum, and the fact that they publicly named the fact that they publicly accused Brad Holder of something, and things that they could be liable for ethics charges as far as being lawyers.
Exactly.
I was never saying that they would be brought up on charges of that. I just said that they could be, because they, in my opinion, did violate a few of those rules and regulations.
Ivy Rose says, what do you think about Click telling MS that he agrees with the defense on the people involved? And that, well, that's because it's kind of this, what that reminds me of is, like, say Jennifer Coffindaffer and Barbara McDonald all thinking that Ron Logan did it. That's kind of what this reminds me of a little bit. That this Click guy believes, like, do you know what I mean? That he believes probably that this has something to do with Odinism. Not to say that it's true. I just think it.
Remember when you're an investigator following a case, and I mean investigators can agree with this, but usually you're assigned to a certain lead, and so it does send you down a rabbit hole, because that's your job, is to follow that lead. That doesn't mean the lead is valid. It just means that you're assigned to follow that lead. So early on in this case, if there were a handful of investigators that were assigned to follow an Odinism lead, they followed that lead, and it probably led them down a path of a weird world with Odinism. So for them to think that there could be an Odinism angle to this, or comment on the fact that they at one point thought there was an Odinism angle to this, that is not a shock to me, and I don't think to anyone with a full IQ that it would be. The same way as if someone was tasked to investigate Ron Logan, they went down a Ron Logan rabbit hole. And sadly, not everyone that goes down a rabbit hole is going to come out on the logical end of things.
Yeah. And sure, Lala says, Sunny, can I say how I believe the Franks hearing document was created? I'm pretty confident I'm right. They spoke into Chat GPT, like someone's, I think it was Ivy or somebody said, or Anne. I think it was Anne. Here, let me just put this into Chat GPT, see what story it comes up with. And thanks, Anne and Mr. Electric. He says just a great stream, and said, I think she said standing ovation, close enough. Sunny and Adam. Mr. Electric, Steph, people try to twice. Sorry, I'm getting tired here. Third live. This has been.
I was just about to say, I'm like, Sunny, I'm about at my wall.
On there, I know. Yeah, so let's get our last comments in, you guys, and then we're gonna head off here. So Lala, if you wanted to say something, oh my God, it's now contagious. Defense attorney says so.
I wonder if I am curious, not about Delphi. I'm curious what time they'll have a press briefing tomorrow about the about Charlotte.
Can you do me a favor, Adam? Actually, Because
I just looked it up and I didn't see anything yet.
what Facebook page or would we be looking at? Milton Police Department, or sometimes you look on Twitter.
New York State. I found some. Most of the stuff I found was on the New York State Police's Twitter.
Oh, Lala. I see why she's asking now. I moseyed over to Robert Lindsay's Beyond Highbrow blog. He says he's been working with the defense and the verbiage. Yeah, and the verbiage is exactly like him. He also says he believes RA is innocent.
Hey, Lala.
Yeah.
You might be onto something there.
Yeah, like you might not be so wrong.
You might not be so wrong at all.
Considering he's a journalist. Yeah. I think RA is likely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what do you say, right? You got creators helping out the defense, which sucks, but yet there's a lot of people that don't believe Richard Allen is guilty and that they're in their own, freaking planet or whatever on things. I mean, just because it's our view that he's guilty doesn't mean it's everybody's view. Hence why they're helping the defense. Especially the people like a Robert Lindsay, and stuff like that, and the few others, like those are people like kind of like myself, right? If I really felt like, like I had evidence that clearly that this was not it, I'd probably want to help too because I'm a strong personality that way. I just want justice for what's right. So if I felt like something was completely wrong, in a sense, I probably wouldn't be so oppressed, opposed to help. I usually don't butt my nose into that stuff. Just depends. Just depends what it is I'm fighting for.
Yeah, so I'm not seeing anything yet as far as what time or where there's going to be the press conference. But
okay, no problem.
I'm sure when we wake up in the morning, we'll have more about that.
Good night, Mustang. Love you.
Hey, good night, Mustang.
Adam, you're hitting on all cylinders tonight, sir.
Oh, that's funny because I feel like I blew a gasket like an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, right. I know. We're gonna get heading off here in just a minute, Adam. Freckle Joy, the whole thing is interesting in itself. I would love for someone to deep dive. Ivy, go deep dive. How do you get to River Lindsay's page? I requested and paid $20 and never got asked. Steffa.
Oh, Steffa.
Self-admittedly right there calls herself out. Paid $20 just to join his page. In Google, you just go to the freaking highbrow. I got his messenger. Do you want his messenger? I remember he's on my messenger from when he did that live. Yeah. Stuff. Anyways, okay, hold on. Okay. Yeah, innocent, proved guilty. So far,
I do want to say one thing really quickly before we go. Yeah. And Sonny, I'll appreciate this. Because I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. For anyone that doesn't know, and Sonny loves the YouTube creator Mr. Beast.
Yes.
Mr. Beast has become the first. I think professional sports. So it's the NBA. Mr. Beast, who also lives in North Carolina, is becoming an official sponsor on the sleeve of my local NBA team, the Charlotte Hornets. He is going to have a patch on the sleeve of their jerseys for Mr. Feastables, which I guess is a product of his. I don't know, but.
Yeah, Mr. Feastables. Those are his chocolate bars.
Yes. So it's like it was a big deal that it's going to be an official sponsor. So, and I guess I'm sure he'll put the money towards something. But I found that to be admirable, and I was like, "Oh, go, Mr. Beast."
You know what? I'm sorry, I can't speak enough. And one day this channel will do stuff like. Maybe we'll never make it to the extent of Mr. Beast, but right. I would love to create like a basket of money in a sense. When I say that, I'm just talking about through donations. As the channel grows and is able to do stuff like that right now. Sorry, I'm in no position to sit there and keep donating. I've lost a couple $1,000s a month since doing this, at least more than that, to be honest. And so when it gets to a point, you guys, I mean, like, and because I know how it is when the channel grows, more people are donating and different things. You just got to go in. Don't say this to CD, JLR's channel or True Crime Grizz, and cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. I love it. I love it when people give back on the donations, because usually people are donating, well, whatever, it's for different reasons, just because they want to, because they want to become a member. Anyways, different avenues. I love it when channels give back, and Mr. Beast is the epitome of somebody that says, you know what, money's money, money comes and goes. I want to do all this.
And I don't ever pay attention to much about other creators like that, but I happened to see that today on a news article that came out, and I was like, oh, how cool. Sonny will be excited because, it's Mr. Beast. And then I'm like, oh, I like it because it's, my local team.
Yeah.
So, awesome.
There's another person called Just Nate. Oh, he's great. Just Nate is great. Just Nate is great. Hey, Just Nate. Okay, but anyways, I can't tell you enough how much. Okay, there's a couple things that I do watch when I'm not talking with you guys. I watch Top Notch Idiots. That one's pretty good. What?
Is that a YouTube channel?
Yeah, Top Notch Idiots. Yeah, that's when they kind of go into the hood and they're like, hey, Alfredo sent me over. Do you want to, do you want, what is it? Do you want to get put to sleep? Right. And they're doing this in the hood. Okay. And so anyways, so when I want to watch something funny, I watch those. And when I want to watch, of course, the ones where they're giving away, I love watching Just Nate and Mr. Beast. Yeah. So those are kind of like when I want to get away from true crime. Like kind of like when I get off here tonight, I've done enough true crime today that I'm just going to watch like probably.
You know what I watched
Thanks.
The night before last for like 3 hours? Shark Tank.
Oh, I used to watch Shark Tank all the time.
I never watched it, but like I think it was Saturday night. I was like, I'm gonna watch Shark Tank.
Yeah, I used to watch that all the time. I don't know more, but.
And after several hours of watching it, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna create a product. I'm gonna invent it.
Yes, that's the thing, right? Is that back in the day, I made candles, okay? Candles, bath salts, whatever, all that stuff, right? And so anyways, it was the Versagel. It wasn't just the wax, right? It was the Versagel. I would use the wax when I was making beer mugs and different things, but my favorite one to this day, you guys, besides that was the Sundays, but the fishbowl aquariums. Oh my God. But anyways, so because I was an entrepreneur myself, that's why I would love watching it.
I want to answer this question. Can I?
Yeah.
So Queen of so I just want to say really quickly, a lot of people are probably mistaken by this. So you said Barry cannot be charged the second time. It's double jeopardy. You're actually incorrect because
yes.
The way that the charges were done and the reason the charges were dropped was that because, the charges were dropped, meaning Barry can be charged again for this crime.
Yeah.
And that's why they were dropped. If Barry had gone to trial and had received not guilty or whatever, then he could not have. Or if the judge had ruled that he was guilty of something, he would be ineligible then of double jeopardy. But
first of all, we know that
they dropped the charges specifically so that with more evidence and more information, that Barry could then someday be charged, or someone could be charged.
Yeah. So, fact. That's not your pixel, though. I know that's not your avatar. Who is that avatar of Queen? Because we all know Queen, right? She's one that always talks in caps. So we allow her. She's one of the few people that we let talk in caps. And so it wants me to pay $20 again. No, just message him. Message him, silly. You can still read everything about Delphi, but I mean, just message the guy. Yeah.
Or Steffa, just don't
Thank you,
buy
Cecil.
into that bullshit. Sorry.
Yeah. You know, yeah, right. Well, Steffa. I love Steffa. I mean, honestly, she would be
Steffa,
like, I
Steffa,
could
see the forest through the trees.
I could see me and Steffa having a crap load of fun if we lived close together for sure. Yeah. We'd probably be giggling our faces off so hard. And
I don't
Cecil would
think either of you would be able to find your way homes.
probably
Find your way home.
I'm good at direction, no matter how drunk I ever was. I'm good at directions. I don't forget. So I'm good at that. Steffa, though, I probably have to freaking put her on my back and freaking give her, like freaking, what are those things called again?
Hey,
Where you give her a back piggyback ride?
Hey, Steffa, if you believe that, I've got an OnlyFans page to sell you.
I can sell you mine too, stuff. I could probably charge a little bit more than Adam, though. I mean, these like double D's here. Yeah.
And Brim says I'm addicted to YouTube channels that upload. Oh, and did you see the college athlete that that blew a zero, and that they tried to still accuse of being intoxicated? That one was interesting. I'm glad he's.
There's a couple of things I quickly want to answer, and I totally watch those as well. Like there's usually about 4 or 5 channels that that keep coming on. Like one is called Blue something Cam or something like that, and I can't think of all of them now. Shoot. Anyways, but I totally watch those body cam ones too. Where they're drunk and there was okay. Let me just quickly tell you about this one. But was this one lady? She's a news anchor, and she's a formidable name or whatever, and she was, oh wow, you want to talk about some self-righteous beef for a news reporter? She was so ignorant. She was this African American lady, I can't think of her name off the top of my head right now, and she's very pretty. You would know her face to see it, and I'm just like, she was absolutely being an utter bitch. Okay, she was being a total bitch, so like meaning like a snobby B reporter, and she even made like a freaking racist remark. She ended up not getting charged, getting the charges dropped, and ended up getting her job back. But I'm telling you, she says to her girlfriend that's in the car, says something like you better be careful. You're white and might get shot or something like that. It was something like that. Anyways, totally freaking racist, totally. And I'm like, how did you not lose your job? And the thing was, Adam, she was literally at 0.7 something, like she didn't go over. And that's why the charges were dropped. But she was a B if I ever saw one. For a news reporter, oh my goodness. She was a self-righteous, privileged effing B is what she was. Now, as for Cecil Hotel, I just wanted to say, I still can't help it. I know the Cecil Hotel that you're probably name is around. I heard it was a shed. Are you talking about in the cabinet? Are you talking about Charlotte? What are you talking for the shed part? I'm not sure which case you're talking about. But Cecil Hotel in Calgary, biggest piece of shit hotel ever. It was a slum, but I think this is to do with that Cecil Hotel.
In LA.
Yeah.
Haunted, the one that's like haunted.
Yeah. Stefan, what's it a pickup? Okay, I think that's about it, guys. Yeah.
I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm too much of a bleeding heart to watch those. I annoy myself. Anyways, you guys, we're gonna head out of here. Thank you guys. Please give the live a thumbs up. Much love to you guys. Thanks for any of the people that became members and donations throughout the day and stuff like that. Totally appreciate that stuff. My stupid green screen. I got to change my lighting around so it doesn't do that. Right. Oh, I think Cecil said, I like your hair. And I'm like, and I like your underwear.
And the one I was talking about, he's actually not. They literally just give him a really hard time. And they're convinced he is. And he calls their bluff with everything. So find that one. So anyway.
Oh, just one more thing. Ozzy. There's my face changing in. Ozzy, in my email, I see an L first name and C last name. Is that what you're talking about? Because I have not opened it yet, if it is. But that's the only email that I see in my Crime and Shame. I only open things as I have time because then I'll forget about it. And then if I've clicked off of it. Yes. Okay. I just wanted, just because I have not opened it, I saw it there today. I saw it there yesterday. But until I'm ready to open something, I just, then that way I won't forget about it. Anyways. Okay, you guys. Love you all. Thank you very much. Bye, guys. And thanks for everyone that joined the live, Mr. Electric and Steffa and all that stuff. Okay, guys. So we're out of here. And boom. This is Sunny Justice and Aspen Connor from It's a Crime and Shame, wishing you all a good night.